Hello and welcome to our Chapter 20 homework help. Let's go ahead and share my screen. There you go. And let me get this screen off this so I can actually see what I'm doing. And let's go ahead and get started. Looks like we got 15 questions in this one. Let's see how many multiple choice we have. I usually try and get about 10 in there. There's 10. And here is 11, okay? For each of the following products and services, indicate whether it is more likely produced in a process operation or in a job order operation. So this is the one we want to look at. Auto repair, wedding reception. What is the No, probably not. Okay, we're going to go job order operation. But let me ask you this. Are there a lot of similarities between wedding receptions? Sure, there's usually a cake, you got lots of flowers, you have tablecloths and things like that. They may be different colors, shapes, sizes, and stuff like that, but there is, and that's kind of what I tried to talk about in the lecture. Hopefully you've watched it by now. Is that, or even in chapter 19, is you're gonna find that there's some kind of gray areas with a lot of these, but bottom line is we're looking at the majority of this. Is this a process or a job order operation? Luxury yachts. Now, if it just said boats or something like that, you're probably going to think more along the lines of process costing. But this luxury part says that you're probably building this for one specific person and it's going to be to order how they want it. And that's what you want. All right. You got to make sure that you're focused on what would it be more likely if you were that person wanting that product, how would it come out? Tennis courts. There's a specific standard size tennis court that is regulation. So more than likely, this is going to be process operation. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be the exact same way every single time because you get some of these people who want to put a tennis court on the side of a mountain. So that project, you're going to have to dig outside of the mountain, make sure those other parts at the top doesn't fall on the people playing. Things that you're going to have to think about in that respect. But for the most part, a tennis court's going to be the same job every time. Tennis balls, ice cream, all processed. Now, that doesn't mean you're making only vanilla every time. That's not what we're saying. We're saying, though, that make ice cream, it's going to be the same process. If you have Rocky Road from the center, it's probably going to be very similar to the one sitting next to it. So if you have someone looking at the same product, the same flavor, both in two different containers, why are they wasting their time deciding on which one to buy? Because they're probably almost identical. All right, let's see if McGraw-Hill holds to my logic. Tennis courts process operation. Okay, see, that's kind of where it gets gray. So if you don't get every one of these correct the first time, that's all right. Because, my belief was looking at it from the standpoint of a tennis court. You're going to need the green, the white lines, and all that other stuff. But what from McGraw-Hill's probably looking at, first of all, I'm not buying a tennis court, all right? Even if I played football in high school, and my knee regrets it. But I'm not gonna go put a football field out in my yard. You know what I mean? But if I had a big whole open field, maybe I would. Maybe it'd be like Field of Dreams building a football field. I don't know. But they're probably thinking, well, maybe they want a juice bar, maybe they want a nice little stands, and it's different every time. They have their reasons for thinking that's a job order operation. It's a different way of looking at it, and that's what you're going to find too, continuing through managerial. And if you take any cost accounting classes in your undergrad, but at the universities, you're going to have to see that cost accounting and managerial, it's a different thought process than just financial, which is what I'm used to, granted. But that's what you. So my guess is auto repair is going to be a job order. Wrapping paper is going to be process. Ice cream is going to be process. Um, Audit of financial statements. I'm curious what they're going to say. I'm going to say process, but that you find different things throughout that. But there is a certain process you follow. I'm willing to bet they may say that as job order, but there is a certain specific thing you have to follow with that. Yeah, okay, so that's a job order. That's interesting because again, you can look at that one both ways too. Um, I would have guessed process more or less, but I guess it's not identical. But at the same time, you're doing almost the same exact tests. You're just changing some of the variables. So anyway, I'll let you pick out what organic juice is and let you go with that one. Okay, prepare a physical flow reconciliation with the following information, all right? So units to account for, we start with our beginning work in process inventory. We have 196,000 units. Then we're going to go ahead and account for the units we started this period, and that is 425,000 units. So let's get our calculator up here. And we're going to add 196,000 units to 425. Oh, it calculated it for us. I was wasting my time. I apologize. So this is the number of units we need to account for. And this one's going to be, oh no, this one's account for, that's accounted for. Completed and transferred out, and then we're going to have our ending work in process inventory, 455. Whoa, one too many zeros. And then we're going to have 166,000. So we've got, and so we should be good to go. Let's check our work. Very good. Again, I covered this in the lecture, so that should be pretty straightforward for you. Compute the total equivalent units of production for conversion. So conversion, our beginning work in process was 80%, our ending is 25. Remember, we don't care when calculating our equivalent units what is in our beginning work in process. We are worried about what has been completed and transferred out and what is in our ending work in process. Completed transferred out is going to be 400,000 units, and it's always 100%. Because they've been completed and they're transferred out. We don't do anything more with them. But our ending work in process has 144,000 units, but it's only completed in respect to 25%. So now we're going to bring up that calculator, say 144,000 and multiply that by 25% for 36,000 total units. So our equivalent units equal 436,000 units. Remember that whenever things transferred out, whether this was for conversion or materials, it doesn't matter. If it's completed and transferred out, they were completed for both of them at 100% rate. So whatever units were transferred out are going to equal the equivalent units. It's the ending work in process that's going to be different, because if it were 100% done with both of them, they'd be out. So one of them either, and when I say one of them, I mean direct materials or conversion, one of them has to be below 100%. Otherwise, if both of them were at 100%, it would have been completed and transferred out. All right, compute the number of equivalent units of production for both direct materials and conversion for April using the weighted average method. Well, that's what I taught you, was the weighted average method from the prior one. So that's all we're doing anyway. Let's do that again, though. We're going to start off with, let's do completed and transferred out first, and then we're going to do our ending work in process. So with respect to direct materials and conversion, it should be the same. 405,000 have been completed and transferred out. So we know that that's 100, not 1,000%. 105,000, 405,000 for both of those as equivalent units. It's here at the ending work in process inventory that we got to figure things out. 103,000, and for direct materials is at 80% for a total of 82,400. And then with respect to conversion, it's 30% completed. Again, we're not worried about our beginning inventory. 30,900. Okay, let's check our work. All right, we're on a roll. I'm willing to bet this last one's going to be our long one, right? The one that we got to do everything in. Look at that. Not everything. Definitely something we're going to be doing. Compute the cost per equivalent unit for both direct materials and conversion. All right. We're rounding our cost per equivalent unit to 2 decimals. That makes sense. All right. So first thing we need to do is we need to calculate our cost per equivalent units. Let's see. Hey, look at this. This is from our prior one. So this is part 2. So we actually just did this. We already calculated our equivalent units. I'm going to write this down on a sticky note so that I don't have to keep bouncing between the two. And 487,400 with respect to direct materials, and then 435,900 with respect to conversion. 487.4. I kind of got a little close there. Okay, so let's plug this in. Cost per equivalent unit of production. We're looking for our total costs right now. So if we have our direct materials and our conversion right over here. So first of all, we're going to look at beginning inventory. 222,485. And then cost added this period is going to be, well, let's go to conversion, 65,382. And then costs incurred this period for direct materials was 1,434,675. And costs incurred this period is 1,002,573. Okay, so our total cost that we need to calculate here, we have our equivalent units that we've already calculated from before. So for direct materials, we had 487. So what was our equivalent units with respect to direct materials? Our equivalent units of production for direct materials was 487,400. Cost per equivalent unit was $3.40 for a total cost. Well, I feel like I'm doing that one wrong all of a sudden. I don't know why. See, and I'm just going to go with my gut though. So we got here is one. I'm going to put this over here so I on my other screen so I can actually see it while I type. 1,657,160. And then our cost per equivalent unit for, again, direct for conversion was, I put, oh, I think it's here. I'm sorry, I did the wrong one. 405,000. That's better. Okay. All right, so I'm going to need to redo that math. That's where I was going wrong with it. It wasn't the cost of the equivalent units of production for the total. It was just for direct materials and then just for conversion. What we actually did. So 405,000 times $3.40. That gives us 1,300,000. Sorry, $992,250. My brain sometimes. Okay, ending work in process are equivalent units that we calculated for that. For this one, we're probably going to which usually takes me to the next one. Okay. So that's doing the math for us. Our total costs accounted for is 2,725,000. And let's add up those. It doesn't do it for us, but we want to verify that our numbers are the same. So we're going to add up our costs in both of these categories. 1,657,160 plus 1,067,955. Oh no! Oh, it was just done. Don't do this. Oh. Let's just go to the last one. See, the numbers change. That's why I can't just jump back into it. But bottom line is, if you did this right, you can come up here. You should be able to calculate, add these costs together. Of those, and then you took the different ones here, and then you applied the different ones here for the same number, and that's what it was. So I'm 100% confident I was correct. I just didn't get to click check my work. I apologize for that error. That just sucks when that happens. So, all right. Well, I hope that helped. You guys have a good one. If you have any questions on the homework or anything related to chapter 20, please let me know. Have a great one, and we'll talk to you guys later.